Welcome to the Chew on This podcast. Join your host, Dr. Katie Chew, and her guests as they chew on what matters, one story at a time.
Well, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Chew on This podcast. And I'm your host, Dr. Katie Chew. And today we are taping from Tampa Bay, Florida. And I have a special friend and guest, Dr. David Geffen.
Hi,
Hello.
Katie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are things going today?
Going very well, very windy. We decided last minute to do a podcast, and we were trying to find a beautiful area at the hotel that we're staying at. Tell us why we're here.
Well, we're here for the BNL speaker training for vision care. So it should be an exciting couple of days listening to the new slides and learning about new products.
Exactly. And I think we do this annually, and they bring together maybe somewhere between 40 to 50 people for the training. And so I'm excited as well. Before we go into the format of the hard chews and the soft chews, you want to share with my followers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been in practice 41 years now, and I'm in La Jolla, California. I'm in an MD-OD joint practice. We're a big cataract refractive surgery practice where I do all the primary care, all the weird contact lenses, and general contact lens work.
We love our contacts, don't we?
Well, that's the most exciting part of what we do, I think.
Yeah. I that's what I do at my practice, and I've been practicing for a little bit over 30 years right now. And every day, I think just seeing patients, it's never the same. It's not, I don't know how sometimes some people might say that their days are very routine. But I find that it's a very unique experience every day I go into the practice.
Well, the bottom line is it's all about the people we see. And that's what keeps me going.
Exactly.
I'm seeing grandkids of patients that I saw when I first came out of practice, which is pretty amazing when you've seen a family for 35, 36 years. And now you're seeing, even their grandkids.
Yeah, it's probably like 5 generations. If you really count, it is 5.
It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy good. That's what I always say. All right, so are you ready to do the hard chews and soft chews?
Okay.
As a reminder, I kind of already told you, the soft chews, I always have the guests start with that. And they're the questions that are a little bit easier to answer just because they're a little bit more fun-loving to answer. And then later on, we're going to go into the hard chews. And these are the ones that are more thought-provoking. All right.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and have you have the honors.
Oop, pulled too many out.
Yeah, they're kind of clustered in there. So just try to pull one slip out.
Okay, here we go. What small moment recently made you pause and appreciate life? Well, for me, there was a huge moment that happened because I had open heart surgery 1 year ago next week, which is why I missed the speakers meeting last year. And I tell you, when you go through something like that, it's definitely a life-changing kind of experience where, you go into an OR and suddenly you think, I might not wake up. And I know that 40 years ago, I'd probably be dead because I didn't have the technology that replaced my valves. So that was a huge moment in my life this past year.
Since you mentioned heart, I actually went to the ER on January 2nd.
Oh, boy.
Thinking I was having a heart attack. And, one of the symptoms that I was experiencing when I was driving to work was chest pain. But in my opinion, I knew that part was probably heartburn. But it's what happened afterwards. As I was still driving, I was like, okay, I'm dismissing it. It's heartburn. But then it started radiating up towards my neck, but not internal, like acid reflux.
Yeah.
It was external. And then the crushing pain came on my lower jaw.
Oh.
And that's when I was like, this is not normal. Why am I having this pain on my lower jaw? And so I went to the ER on that day. Everything checked out. it turned out that my heart was fine. I even scheduled myself with a cardiologist afterwards, just to make sure, with the treadmill test,
Right.
everything checked out fine. So I think it's a pause for me to realign myself with how I manage underlying stress, if that makes sense. And so, without going into details, but 2025, and I'm still kind of going through it right now, there's been some things, in the background that has been presenting itself as noise in my life. And I am trying to manage that right now. And it's with an entity in our industry.
Wow.
So that's all I'm just gonna keep it at that. And so, when you're a practicing doctor and you're looking out for the best interests of your patients, and you're approaching this entity to try to make changes, and and then there's this disconnect in terms of how they see things. Yeah, it gets frustrating.
Frustrating, and it gets stressful, and we have to learn
Yes.
how to manage stress.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
daily occurrence running a practice.
Yeah. Yeah. But what just keeps coming through my mind, and I think that's where I end up, just having to try to divert that anxiety, is I just keep thinking, like, why can't people just do the right thing? That's where I'm like, I was driving to work and I'm like, why can't people just do the right thing? Do the right thing.
That's too easy. That's too
And
easy.
so yes, and then but it is what it is, and I'm managing it better.
Good.
And so yeah.
That's
Our-
important.
Yes. All right. So that was an easy question, but we kind of talked about some heavy topics. All right. We have here from the hard shoes. What's something you had to unlearn in order to grow?
Well, I can tell you, when I started in practice, I thought that I had to control everything. And I basically ended up doing the job of the 3 people in my practice. I went back and did things over that I didn't like the way they did it. And it took me about 3 to 4 years to learn that it's impossible for me to do all this stuff. And I'm never going to grow my practice if I am controlling every little bit. So I had to learn to trust the people that I've hired and give them a lot of slack, and not overseeing, not being overbearing, looking at their shoulder every time they're doing something. And really, I learned very early to totally control my frustration and anger. And my staff knows that if I've reached a point where they see I'm angry, they know they've reached a breaking point, because it's probably happened once in the last 4 years. But they know if I get to that point that all hell's going to break loose and something really bad has happened. And that was a huge thing to have to learn. But it's one of the reasons that my practice grew so fast once I learned that.
I think for me, it's going to be a little bit opposite of yours, only because what I'm saying is that I, for the longest time, didn't value my voice. And so I was always trying to be the nice person. And sometimes when you think you're being nice, it's not helping others on how, because they need somebody to lead them. And so that's what I've learned from my experience, especially with my practice, is that now I am interjecting my voice more with confidence, and realizing I had to just unlearn that being the nice person isn't always being a leader.
Yep.
Because then sometimes people take advantage of your niceness. And so so I'm practicing right now to be a little bit stronger with my voice at my practice.
It's important. And that's, I had externs in my office for 15 years. And that's one of the things that I routinely saw, is that doctors who first start have that issue. For whatever reason, I didn't have that problem starting out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really a confidence thing.
You don't have the confidence.
I'm still learning. I can't even say that I have absolute confidence right now. I'm always a work in progress, but that is something that I've realized that that my voice does matter. And I used to always just think, well, I don't want to be, mean. I don't want to be interfering with what they're already doing. And it's okay. Everything was like, it's okay. It's okay. But now I feel like, it could be better than okay.
But you know what? It's not confidence, Katie.
What is it?
It's the fact that we sit here and talk like this.
Yeah.
We know we don't know everything.
Yeah, that's true.
And that leads you to think that it's a lack of confidence. But the bottom line is, when you think you know it all, it's time to get out of the profession. Because if you're not continuing to learn, you're falling behind.
Yeah.
And that's what, people keep asking me, when are you going to retire? I go, I really love what I do. I go, either I stop enjoying myself, or I stop picking up a journal, or I stop going to a meeting, I stop networking. If I don't have the desire to pick up that new equipment or learn that new technique, it's time to stop. And I've seen it happen in too many of the offices, because we've been able to visit a lot of different practices. Yeah. And I've walked into practices where I'm going, this is really sad. This guy, he really should retire.
Yeah.
He's not learning anything. He's not advancing. His patients aren't benefiting.
Yeah.
So every year we try to add something new to the practice. Yeah. And patients come in and say, hey, doc, what's your new toy this year? Or what new thing do you do?
Yeah.
It keeps it exciting.
It is. It is. I remodeled my practice about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And so it's very boutique-ish right now. And then last year I brought in some new equipment, some new technology. And then this year, in January, for being in practice for 30 years, you would think that you don't need a consultant, but I brought on a consultant, to grow my practice still. So yeah, isn't it fun?
You always learn something.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter when. You bring in somebody in, there's 1 or 2 points that you can learn, it's worth the money.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So did we both answer? No, I think I answered it.
No, I talked about.
And then we were both going on. Yep, I think we both answered it. Okay, let's do the soft shoots.
Okay, here we go. This one is, what kind of experiences make life feel rich to you? Well, I mean, for me, this is pretty easy. I have 7 grandkids now. And when you have, all these little kids who still adore Poppy, they're young enough now that they still want to hang out with me. The oldest grandchild's 10, and then I have an 8-year-old. And those 2 boys, I am having a great time with now. Mm-hmm. I can sit there, and the older one will sit and play chess with me. I've taught him how to play chess. The little one's a real sports maven, and he'll want to throw the ball, and he wants me to come to his baseball and his basketball games all the time. And then I've got 2 4-year-olds, 3-year-old, and 2 1-year-olds.
Wow.
And the 4 and 3-year-olds, I mean, they want to come and be with me, and they come and stay at our house, and they love to climb in the bed in the morning and watch a video for a short time if their parents let them.
Yeah. So are all your grandkids in Southern California?
They're all in Southern California. 4 are in the LA area.
Okay.
And 3 are in Encinitas, which is 20 minutes from my house.
Nice. All right. I kind of knew that you were going to answer that, because earlier beforehand when we were, having our coffee in the morning, that you mentioned you had grandkids, and I don't have grandkids yet, but I know that would probably be my answer if I had grandkids. So for me right now, I would have to say that it's just finding those moments to see my children, my adult daughters. They both have busy lives, but when we don't have the time to physically get together, one's in the military, she's a Marine, and right now she's stationed in Fort Worth, Texas. But once she's done with her time there, she'll be back in Pensacola. Yeah, she's training to be a aviator.
Oh,
so
great.
For the Marines. Yeah, I'm so proud of her. And then so it's, it's hard to physically meet up with her, but we do try to talk on the phone at least, once every 7 to 10 days. And so I
Right.
think that's really important. My older daughter, she lives in Laguna, and so I do get to see her often.
That's good.
And we talk on the phone almost every day, and I don't, we make time for each other. It's like if I call her, she will pick up my phone call.
That's amazing.
No, it's amazing. That's why I'm telling you as a parent, right? When you call and your child picks up, that's already a big,
That's a win.
that's a win.
That's a win.
It is a win. It is a
My
win.
daughters call
It is a
my
win.
wife daily.
Yeah.
When they call me, I know they either need money or their car's broken.
Yeah, my car won't start up. I need somebody to help me recharge my battery. Yes. Yeah, but I'm sure your wife is just happy
My
when she
wife
gets
is
those
over
calls.
the moon.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
my wife works also. She's a financial advisor, but she drops everything if my daughters or my son calls and they need a babysitter or
Yeah.
somebody, if a nanny's gone, my wife goes up to LA for the week.
Yeah.
It's, that
It's-
she loves it.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
It's what we do. All right. We're going to tackle a hard shoe here. And how are you doing with this win? I think it kind of calmed down a little bit.
It's ebbing and flowing.
Okay. All right. What's something about your life that looks successful from the outside but feels different on the inside?
Well, that's a
This-
real.
Yeah. What's something about your life that looks successful from the outside but feels different on the inside? I have something that's current, I would say. In 2025, I started my podcast in December. Okay. I started writing children's books around June and got the first one published in October of 2025. And I think from, people seeing that there, I do have to say it is an achievement that I am so proud of. But on the inside, I am going to say that there's been a lot of crying. The reason is because for me to write the stories for my children's books, they touch upon something deeper. They're coming from things that have happened with my own life when I was young. And obviously these themes are not put out in the format of a children's books, but I'm writing based on these experiences and what is the messaging that I want to get across, being courageous, right? And brave and knowing what your worth is. These are just little gentle reminders in the children's books, but when I write them, I'm sometimes crying as I'm writing them, and that's what people don't see. And the podcast, I am going to let you know. The tagline of this podcast, it's called "Chew on This," and basically it's about sharing stories that truly matter, right? And so for the longest time, I had all these personal stories that I held within myself, and not that I didn't want to share them, but I just felt like people wouldn't understand them. And but 2025 was a time for me to say, hey, you know what, this is your time to share. And I know that other people have similar stories or stories of their own experiences that they would love to share. And so that's why this is my platform. Like through these questions, somehow it's allowing us to share little things that we would have never really thought about. Yeah. So that's the insight
Wow.
that people don't realize.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to my mind is people come in, to our practice and stuff, and they think everything's running so smooth and everything. And I mean, right now, my side of the practice is in somewhat disarray in the fact that I have one of my assistants who's out on maternity leave for 5 months now. I have a second one who's out on medical leave. And, and for those of you who aren't in California and don't understand California law, we have to keep those jobs open as long as they have medical excuses. So I have 2 jobs opening, and you just can't go
You
and
can't fill
hire
them.
people, and you
Correct.
can't fill part-time help.
Yeah.
So we're running short staff, and my poor optical manager is just getting killed.
Yeah.
She's doing the job of 3 people right now, and I tell you, she's a blessing. He's a blessing. So people think we're still running pretty smooth because of her, more than because of me. I mean, I hide in the exam room all day. I mean, I don't deal with that stuff
Yeah.
because fortunately, if you're busy, you can't be out front, running all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a real challenge, and it's definitely something that I go to sleep every night wondering what's going to happen tomorrow and who's going to show up.
Yeah. Well, okay, so here's the brighter side.
Mhm.
That's one of the new approaches in my life, is having this different mindset on looking at things. So I'm going to say that your patients don't see any of that background noise. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like going to a wedding,
Exactly.
right? The bride is the one that knows that all the stuff is happening, but
Yeah.
everyone who's a guest at the wedding would say it was the most beautiful wedding they've ever been to, right? And so it's kind of like that,
Yep.
right?
No,
Your
that's
patients
perfect.
I know. So you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
We just, in California, yes, we have to write out these periods when, it's part of our staff's lives, right?
Right.
When they need to take time off for medical reasons, or, maternity leave, paternity leave, these leaves are essential. It's just that with a small business owner, it's very difficult to navigate when you are short staffed. You can't find temporary relief. And where does this weight, this burden, it falls on everybody else. And that's where it's very difficult.
Right.
Very, very difficult. So, all right, sir, I'm going to have you pull a soft.
Okay, here we go. What's a place, memory, or moment that feels like home to you? Well, I'll tell you that it's interesting that my younger daughter lives in a place called Castle Heights in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And she happens to now live 5 blocks from the high school that I went to. And my best friend in high school lived 3 doors down from the house my daughter actually lives in
Okay.
right now. So when I go up to her house, which we go frequently, we spend at least 1 weekend a month in LA, and I go into that neighborhood, it makes me feel like I'm 16 again.
Aw,
And I
that's
remember
special.
all the hangouts, and I remember
Yeah.
the houses of my buddies. And it's just, and I go to this, my wife goes, "How do you know where you're going?" I go, "I grew up here. I know all the shortcuts, all that stuff."
So when your daughter was looking for a home in that area, did she already know that that was where you grew up? Or it just happened to...
She knew that that's the area I grew up. However, my daughters are both speech therapists.
Uh-huh.
They form their own business. As a speech therapist, they really know the LA City school systems.
Yes.
So they both picked an area where they felt the elementary school was good enough to send their kids to. So this area and one other area were the 2 areas that they insisted they would only buy a house, because they knew they could send their kid to the elementary
Yeah.
school. And
It's a public school system?
it's a public school.
Yes.
And they know that they feel at this point in time for high school, they're going to have to send their kids to a private school.
Mm.
And the LA private schools are close to $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's where I work, folks.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It's so crazy. LA is
Well,
just
I was going to
nuts.
say, like, think of the new parents who have kids that are in private preschool. I mean, they're up there as well.
Well,
To go
their
to a...
preschool's $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I know that because I help write the check.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different world, especially in California or Southern
Yeah.
California. And so I'm going to have to take a look at that question one more
Oh,
time.
sorry.
It's okay. So what?
Nope.
That's
sorry.
okay. Maybe it was the
That's
last one.
Last one.
All right. What's a place, memory, or moment that feels like home to you? All right. I've answered something similar on another podcast. It wasn't worded this way, but I'm going to try not to use that answer because I'm going to have to go with a travel that I've done. A place that feels like home to me. Interestingly, going to Italy felt like home. And so for the longest time, I kept thinking, it'll be nice to like retire in Rome. What was the other place? I think it's Sorrento. I haven't been there. Is that in?
No, that's the South.
Yeah, that's in the South.
Yeah.
And so, but there was something magical about going to Italy because, first of all, I think the weather is very similar to California. We're on the same latitude, I believe. And so that was one helpful thing about the weather. But the food, I just,
Amazing.
maybe because I like eating rice. And so pasta, rice, it's very satisfying. Yep. And just from my experience of I can't speak Italian, but I think just hand gestures, facial expressions, eye expressions, I always felt like we were already communicating, and there was always hugs.
Yep.
And I think, when they say, oh, Italians are very expressive, I mean, it's not just the language, it's
Yep.
the body language. And I think that was something that I always remembered, coming back from Italy going, gosh, I can't wait to go back home again because it felt like home. Yeah.
I'm going to be there in a month.
Oh, are you? Where are you going to go?
We're going on a tour of Portugal, and then we head to Milan and Lake Como.
Oh, are you doing a land tour or?
We're doing a land tour in Portugal,
Yeah.
and then we're on our own in Lake Como and Milan.
Nice, nice. So when you say you're going to be on your own, I'm assuming you're going to have like a rental car. You have to drive on the
We're
steering.
actually not renting a car. We're going to have a driver that takes us to Lake Como. And then basically, if you're in Lake Como, you're on water taxis everywhere.
Okay.
We
nice.
just take the taxis, or if we're going to go somewhere, we'll grab a Uber or something there.
It's just the thought of me driving on, with the steering column on the other side of the car. I'm like, I don't know if I could ever drive.
Actually, in Italy, it's on the same
Is
side.
it on the same side?
It's in England. That's the opposite
Oh.
side. And I think Australia too, but I'm not sure. But I know in England, because we go to England frequently, because my wife's
It's on the other
relatives
side?
are all there.
For some reason, I thought, but you're right. You're right. I'm thinking I was in Asia the last trip, and that was on the other side.
Yep.
So yes.
Yeah, Hong Kong, I know, is on the other side.
Yes. All right. I need to go back to Hong Kong. The last time I was in Hong Kong was when I was 7 years old visiting my grandmother, and I have not been there since.
Well, you need
So
to go
I do.
to the Chinese restaurant in the Intercontinental Hotel.
Do you know the name of it?
I don't know it,
But
but it's a
at the
Michelin
hotel?
star restaurant, and I have never had food like this in my life.
Well, it's on my bucket list to go with my older daughter. She wants to go to Hong Kong, so I will keep that in mind. When have you outgrown a version of yourself but kept showing up as that person anyway? Wait, I gotta read. When have you outgrown a version of yourself but kept showing up as that person anyway? Huh.
Well, that's a real interesting analysis. And, when I think back, I can only really think about as a teenager,
Yeah.
when I used to, basically pretty much be pretty introverted and shy,
Yeah.
and would never speak up and speak in front of people, and didn't want to be out there. And it took a while. And basically, once I went to college, and they made you do these things,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got hooked up with a professor that I ended up doing a lot of research with, who basically really was my mentor and really taught me a lot, and forced me to actually take a writing class for science majors, because he said my writing on these scientific papers, the content was great, but he couldn't understand what I was saying because I wrote so poorly. And, I took that class and, I've been a contributing editor to 3 of the optometric journals. I have, dozens of published papers now, and all thanks to Philip Thornburg.
Yeah, there's always like this one person that we need to thank, right, for
Yep.
making those connections for us. Yeah. I'm still trying to like gnaw on this right now. I'm chewing on this question. There's so many different ways I can answer
Right.
this.
I mean, it could be answered all kinds of
I
ways.
know. I'm going to go with this one answer. I know I've mentioned it before, but this one, growing up with my family, I've been the silly one. But as you get older, you start to learn that you need to be acting more mature because, that's the responsible adult self. And so I think I've done that pretty well. But when I'm back with my family, those little kidism or with just being a little kid, it comes out. And so whenever we have like family parties, I am a silly clown, believe it or not. And I'm not going to change that. It makes everyone laugh. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no reason to change that.
Yeah, no. And so there's this running joke in our family that, we have this one uncle, he's 80 something years old now, but, my grandmother never approved of the marriage between him and my aunt because he was just a silly person. And she always thought like, how are you going to take care of my daughter, And, but they are still married. I don't know. I can't even do the math, but it's probably over 50 years of marriage. And so everyone says that, I am probably going to take on the legacy. I mean, like of being instead of crazy Uncle Tony, it's me, crazy Auntie Katie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my answer to this. All right. So this was a hard question. We'll do one more round and then we'll call it an episode. Are you having fun?
Yeah, it's great.
A little bit different.
What is something simple that always improves your mood? Well, the easy question for me would just be with my grandkids.
Yeah.
That always improves my mood.
Yeah.
But in terms of, more of a daily basis, I am a big music fan and I'm a diehard voice fan and a lot of these kind of music singing shows. And it's a result of my kids growing up doing a lot of musical theater and, me helping work backstage and filming all these shows and my daughters both had beautiful voices and, participating in all of those things. And my older daughter actually, for her senior project in high school, went out and had a CD produced of where she wrote most of the songs and covered a couple.
And is she the speech therapist right now?
Both of
both
the
of them,
girls
yes.
are speech therapists.
Nice.
And when she got married, my speech had a lot of the lines of "I Hope You Dance" that she actually covered on her CD.
Oh.
And then we went to the first dance that we actually had her CD playing.
While you
but
were
she had no clue.
Oh, so you surprised her.
We surprised her. And
oh my goodness.
we're dancing. She turns to me. She goes, "This is me."
Oh my god. How beautiful.
Yeah, it was really neat.
It came full circle.
Full
right?
circle. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to take the easy route on that one. I think for me, it would be coffee. Like on a daily basis, if my daily routine is I have a cup of coffee in the morning, and that's part of my routine, right? To get the day started. But when I come back home and if I've had a stressful day, it's like I don't drink alcohol. Like, you know what I mean? Some people might just have a glass of wine or something just to kind of relax, but coffee is what I would go to. So yeah, it calms me in the evening
That's
as
great.
well. So yeah, very simple pleasure, easy to do, right? I just put my little coffee pot in there, press the button.
Relatively cheap.
Yes, much cheaper than I was surprised yesterday, or was it this morning? No, it was yesterday. I was at the airport and I got a cup of coffee. It was like a lavender cream something, and it was like $9,
Oh.
I think, 8 something. I was just like, wow.
Go to
For a
England.
cup of coffee.
£9.
Jeez.
It's $13 for that same
Jeez.
cup of coffee.
Yeah. It is crazy. And sometimes I travel out to like the Midwest, and the prices there are so different from California.
Oh, well, look at gas.
Substantially.
Look at gas. I mean, gas in the Midwest is like $1.50 cheaper than what we pay in California.
Yeah, right now it's over $6.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Yep, $6 in California.
Yes.
That
All right.
puts me in a bad mood.
Well, I know. Every time when I fill up my gas now, I just like, it is what it is. That's how I have to keep it.
I actually bought a hybrid.
Oh, did you?
And during the week, I use no gas anymore because my
Okay.
office is so close.
Yeah. No, I still have to drive 28 miles one way.
Oh,
Yeah. And so it adds up quickly for me. What's something you're currently learning about yourself in this season of life?
That's a pretty easy question for me. I mean, I've learned that I still want to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm still always looking for something new. I want to see what the latest things are. I subscribe to like 12 different magazines and journals.
Yeah.
And I subscribe to 3 different computer magazines. I'm always looking, how I can play with my computer. I'm having a wonderful time with AI stuff right now.
Yeah.
And I'm really learning how to use and manipulate a lot of the things. And my partners actually started an AI company for eye care. And in our office, we're implementing, we have AI scribes, we have AI analysis of our digital photos, our OCTs.
How exciting.
We have a scleral fit AI program now that he's having me test out. So it's pretty cool to work with this stuff.
That's amazing.
And
that's amazing.
And it's exciting.
It is exciting. I'm just going to piggyback off of what you're saying too. It's like, I haven't stopped wanting to learn and grow, and that is how you grow, is when you continue to, to just learn different things. And, one of the, I'm going to be starting my 3rd bucket list, but that kind of says it all. Is like some people just have one bucket list, right? And once they checked it all off, they think, well, I've done everything, right? But for me, it's like, once I did everything on that first bucket list, I started a second one, right? And this second one, because what I've done is when I do my bucket list, I write everything down in that one sitting. That's a completed bucket list. I don't add as I go.
Oh,
So there's 2 more things on that bucket list that I'm going to be doing sometime soon. And once that's done, I'm going to sit down with a new, fresh bucket list. But I think that's kind of sums up how my life is right now, is that I am going to continue having bucket lists, right? I mean, because
we all have bucket lists. You may not write them down, but we all have them.
Yeah.
It's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah. But it's like, sometimes for some people, once they're finished with that bucket list, they're like, okay, I've done everything. To me, it's like, no, there's still more.
We spoke about Italy.
Yes.
One of the things on my bucket list.
Yes.
Have you been to Siena?
No, I have not.
Siena has this horse race called the Plazio.
Okay.
I want to go and actually witness that and be there for this.
I thought you were going to say
amazing
you
horse
wanted to be
race.
on the horse.
No, I do not want to be on the horse. But I want to be there. But I want to be up in the balcony. I don't want to be with 8,000 people in that center square where you cannot move for 3 hours.
Yeah. So that is already on your bucket list.
That is on the bucket list.
Okay. Well, once it's on your bucket list, I believe in manifesting things. And if you already have that in writing or whatever, then it's going to be done. We know it's going to be done. Well, thank you for being on my podcast
Thank you, Katie.
and bearing with the wind. Well, it's actually calmed down.
Much nicer.
Yes, yes. And so I hope that, we're going to have a great rest of 2 more days?
Two more days.
2 more days of the speaker training. And we'll get to meet more of our colleagues that we normally don't get to see in person.
Yep.
So this is a great time for us to catch up with people. And so, all right, I want to thank all of you for joining me today with Dr. Geffen. And as I always say, continue living your life by leading boldly, seeing things so clearly, and always cherishing the people around you. So have a great one. Bye-bye.